Today we're going to be looking at a strategy to check our subtraction answers to make sure that we have subtracted correctly. And the strategy that we're going to be using is using addition to check our subtraction. So I want you to repeat after me. You can use addition to check your subtraction. Say it again. You can use addition to check your subtraction. So many of you probably enjoy addition better than subtraction. Just seems to make more sense to go forward in our brains than counting backwards. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people. And so one thing we can do is use addition and use that to our advantage to help check our subtraction answers. So how can I subtract two-digit numbers? Tim had 30 cherries. After he had eaten some, there were 12 left. Explain how to find how many he ate. Okay, so this is what happened. He had 30. He ate some, but we don't know how many. And he ends up with 12. Now, because of fact families, we know that we can move these parts around, right? So I'm just going to switch these and do 30 minus 12 to see how many he ate. So again, we've got a 0 there. More on the top, more on the floor. We have more on the floor. 2 is bigger than 0. We're going to go next door, take a 10, break a 10, which leaves us with 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 2 minus 1 is 1. He ate 18 cherries. All right, we're going to practice what we did yesterday, rewriting our problem up and down, and then we're going to solve. Let's do these first two together. So 93 minus 65, gotta write really tiny. I have more on the floor, go next door, regroup 10 more, take a 10, break a 10. 13 minus 5 is 8, 8 minus 6 is 2. Again, I'm gonna write it up and down. Try to write a little smaller this time. Well, that turned out funky, didn't it? All right. 39 minus 23. I have more on the top. No need to stop. 9, 8, 7, 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Try number 3 and 4 on your whiteboard or a scrap piece of paper. Push play when you're ready to check your answers. Again, we're going to write it vertically, lining up our 1s and our 10s. More on the top, more on the floor. We have more on the floor. Go next door, take a 10, break a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6, 6 minus 2 is 4. Hopefully you did not get, actually this would be 54, because you forgot to go next door and regroup, right? If you have 0, you can't take away 4. So if you ended up with 54, that's where you went wrong. All right, and last but not least, hopefully you did this one, 82 minus 17. More on the floor. Go next door and regroup. Take a 10, break a 10. 12 minus 7 is 5. 7 minus 1 is 6. Mark the answer that shows how to rewrite and solve 63 minus 25. So let's go ahead and solve it. And that'll give us a good idea of which one is correct. More on the top, more on the floor, more on the floor. Go next door and regroup 10 more. We have 6 10s. We're going to take 1, which leaves 5 10s. Take a 10, break a 10. Break it into 10 1s. 10 1s plus 3 1s, 13 1s. Now we're ready to subtract. 13 minus 5 is 8. 5 minus 2 is 3. So let's see. We've got, these two here have the wrong number on top. So it can't be that one. We've got to start with 63. 63 is the whole. And then these, we've got 13 minus 5 is 7. 13 minus 5 is 8. We decided 13 minus 5 was 8, so it's going to be 38. How can you use addition to check your subtraction? Remember at the beginning of the video I taught you, you can use addition to check your subtraction. Say it with me. You can use addition to check your subtraction. So one reason we're able to do this is because of related facts or fact families. When we were starting out and we looked at some smaller fact families such as 1 plus 4 equals 5, we figured out that we could flip this around to be a subtraction problem, right? And that was part of our fact family. Well, it works the same way when you have 2-digit numbers. You can always use the same 3 numbers to make a fact family. So if I have a problem like 83 minus 46, I can solve, and then I can take my 2 parts, because I know whole minus part equals part. I can take my 2 parts, which are 46 and 37, and when I add those together, I should end up with 83. And what do you know I do? Because those numbers are all related. So that means I subtracted correctly, because when I add these parts back together, I end up with the same whole that I started with. So let's do this for another problem. We're going to use base 10 blocks to model, and then we're going to use addition to check our answer. So we have 65 iPad is being a little finicky. 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We want to take away 8. I have more on the floor, so I've got to go next door. If I have 5 ones, I can't take away 8. I'm going to take a 10, break a 10. So on my cubes, that'll look like this, right? And now I've got 15, so I can take away 8, which is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. I have 5 10s left, because remember I took 1 to break it apart. And I'm taking away 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which leaves me with 1. So now, whole minus part equals part. I'm going to switch my equation around and add my parts together. So 48 plus 17, it should equal 65, right? That's what I started with. Let's check and see. 8 plus 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. Plus 1 more is 15. 15 is 110 and 5 ones. So I'm going to put 5 ones down here. Regroup my 110 up here. 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6, which leaves me with 65, which is what I started with.
Check subtraction.
We can use addition to check the answer to a subtraction problem.
Add the numbers 15 and 10 to check the answer. 5 plus 0 equals 5. 1 plus 1 equals 2. The answer is 25. Since 25 is the number you subtracted from, your answer is correct.
To check the answer to a subtraction problem, add back the number you subtracted. The sum should match the number you subtracted from.
Let's try another subtraction problem. 36 minus 20. What is 36 minus 20? Let's see. 6 minus 0 equals 6. 3 minus 2 equals 1. So, 36 minus 20 equals 16. Now, let's check our answer by adding 16 and 20. 6 plus 0 equals 6, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. The sum is 36, which matches the number we subtracted from.
Okay, so now let's go to your Math in My World book on page 261, and we are going to check our subtraction using addition, right? We can use addition to check our subtraction. So we're going to start with 38 vegetables. So you're going to need your pencil. And we're going to put in the purple box, we're going to put 38. That's how many vegetables we are starting with. And Nancy picks 12. So in your first yellow box, write the number 12. It says how many vegetables are left. So I'm going to go ahead, since this is subtraction, I need the 2 boxes up there. I'm going to go ahead and start in my ones and ask myself, more on the top or more on the floor? 8 is bigger than 2, so more on the top. No need to stop. I don't have to regroup. 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. So now I'm ready to check my work. Again, this is whole minus part equals part. So now I'm going to take my parts and add them together, and I should end up with the same whole, but let's see. So my blue, I have 26, and the yellow, I have 12. You should be writing this in as well. 6 plus 2 equals 8. 2 plus 1 equals 3. And sure enough, 38 and 38. So we have done that correctly. So you can check the answer to a subtraction problem using an addition problem. So first you're going to subtract and then use those parts and add them together to see if it's correct. It says add the number you subtracted to the difference. The sum should match the number you subtracted from. So let's do a couple of practice problems together on page 262. So we have 36 minus 20, 6 minus 0. I have 6. I can take away nothing. I still have 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. So again, whole minus part equals part. Part plus part equals whole. My 2 parts are 20 and 16. And when I add those together, I should end up with 36, but let's see. 0 plus 6 is 6. 2 plus 1 is 3. Sure enough, they're the same. 50 minus 12. I have more on the floor. Don't let this one trick you. Remember, if it's 0 on top, that is not enough to subtract. That's nothing. We don't have anything to take from. Go next door, take a 10, break a 10 into ones. Now we're ready. 10 minus 2 is 8. 4 minus 1 is 3. So my 2 parts are 12 and 38, and I'm looking to see if it equals 50. 8 plus 2 is 10. 1 plus 1 plus 3, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. 50, which is correct. So if you would have, on this one, made that common mistake of 0 minus 2 is 2, and 5 minus 1 is 4, and you would have gotten 42 instead of 38, then when you add these together, 42 plus 12, you would have ended up with 54, when really we needed 50, right? So that means that you had 4 too many. If you see something like this, it's because you've done something wrong. In this case, it's because we had 0 and thought we could take away 2 and still have 2, but we really can't, right? We've got to regroup that, and then we end up with 38, which gives us 50. All right, go ahead and pause. Try 3 and 4 on your own. I want you to solve the subtraction problem and then check your subtraction by using addition. You may push play when you're ready to check. More on the top or more on the floor? We have more on the floor. Go next door. 10 plus 1 is 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. Bring down the 1. So my 2 parts are 18 and 3. Make sure you get them lined up properly. 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 plus 1 is 2, which gives me 21. And it matches. Did you get 21? Hopefully so. And then 2 minus 4 we cannot do, so we are going to go next door. Take a 10, break a 10. 11, 10, 9, 8. 2 minus 1 is 1. My 2 parts are 14 and 18. I could add them as 18 and 14. Remember, it doesn't really matter in a fact family. As long as you're using both parts and not a whole, you should get the same answer. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Regroup the 10 ones. 1, 2, 3. 3 tens equals 32, which is what we started with. Why does addition work as a check for subtraction? It works because the two are related. So you know that if a part plus a part equals a whole, then a whole minus that part's going to equal the part, right? Because of their relatability. All right, you are going to do pages 263 and 264 on your own. Upload pictures to school.